So, Ronald Koeman is worried about Everton. No Ped this week. Matt, you have the unfortunate situation of being in here to discuss this right now.
A lot calmer.
A lot calmer.
Less controversial.
More level-headed. Perhaps knowing more about football, knowing more about football in general. Just quickly then he said, I'm not concerned about results. I'm worried about what I see on the pitch. We discussed on an earlier video, look, you're still right by Man United, so it's not like you're still 7th in the league. It's not crisis time or anything, and it's not going to be anytime soon, I imagine. But it's not really clicked for Everton so far this season.
Well, you say that, but you look at the fixtures Everton have got coming up. Before we talk about the performances of the weekend, got Manchester United at the weekend, Watford away, then play Arsenal, Liverpool in the space of 4 days, and Leicester away on Boxing Day. And you're looking at that thinking, where's the next win going to come from? Yeah. It's already been 1 win in 8 games. I think that the performance on Sunday was the most disappointing one of this recent result.
I expect him to do more, particularly because he should know the team inside now.
Absolutely, and I think you can accept that Chelsea can turn up and batter you on one day, and you can accept that the Swansea game after an international break, you might be caught a little bit cold, but the fact that Southampton had the game in Europe, they had a few key injuries, Tadic didn't play, Long was only on the bench as well, and the fact that Everton had the whole week to prepare for it, you'd think Ronald Koeman would have the team fired up for a game against his old team. And there's no reaction again, and there's a perennial issue there in terms of starting games. They're so slow off the blocks, and that manifested itself in the worst possible form on Sunday. So it's I think the manager has been left with a poor squad overall from the previous regime. I think a lot of people looking at it will still look at players in that team and think good, talented individual footballers, but they've been making the same errors, not putting the effort in for the last couple of years now. And I think a big overhaul is needed. But in the same breath, I think the manager himself can do more to help the process along.
I think I think Koeman's been quite refreshing, to be honest. I like the fact that he clearly he knows it's not right, and he's got no problem saying, "No, it's not good. You can see it's not good. I can see it's not good." Yeah. I guess he's buying himself time to some extent, but it'd be worse, I guess, if he was trying to convince everyone that it was all rosy when it's not.
I think it's a kind of a classic case of kind of he's kind of looking at the form and making massive leaps about the state of your football club. He's got a big job on his hands, Koeman. Like Everton, I know it's a cliche and you kind of say it year in and year out, but Everton are a really big club, and they do have talented players, but perhaps the wrong players for Koeman's ideologies and creating Everton and putting him in creating Everton into the team that can actually push on for that top 4 team. It will take a while in order for that to happen. Spurs, I bring all this back to Tottenham, but I see parallels with Tottenham and Everton every season. Our first season under Pochettino, we scored 50 goals, we conceded 50. It was average at best, but you could see a process where he's having to take out the parts of the puzzle that didn't fit anymore, and replace them with new signings, and then get those signings to adapt to those ideologies, and it does take time. Koeman had the similar situation with Southampton just last season, where they had a terrible run of form. People were doubting them. They were kind of lamenting the club for allowing Pochettino to leave and the players to be sold underneath him again. And Koeman pulled it round, and they ended up finishing, was it 8th or something last year?
6th, weren't they? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. So, I think, as with all of these situations, fans need to calm down a little bit and just let this process happen and be patient. Although, as football fans,
what's patience in football? What do you reckon, Robbie? Because again, from the outside, I don't watch Everton week in, week out, but I will probably step into the trap that Matt's kind of said. That I look at Everton's side and think there's some players there. There's some players that belong at the top end of the Premier League. Lukaku. I know Barkley's not performed for a while now, but he's clearly a talent. Barry's past his prime, but he's still he's a very intelligent, he's a good quality footballer. Ashley Williams is a good centre half. When he's fit, Coleman's class, Baines is class. Don't know what you reckon. Should he be getting more out of what's there?
Yeah, I think he should. I mean, they started off all right, didn't they? But I was wondering to myself.
The Toffee TV boys were all over the title challenge at the start of the season.
I was wondering to myself, if this was Martinez on this little run here, what would the Everton fans be saying? You know what I mean, because ain't no worse than, this guy's not doing much better than Martinez at the moment, is he?
I think the thing, you know, the last couple of performances, there's not been much difference. You know, the way that Everton moved the ball slowly, the defending's been poor, they've been reactive in games, they've not been getting out on the front foot. There are parallels to draw there, and largely they will be there because it's the same squad of players. You know, the club went through a pretty, you know, seismic spell of change in the summer. They brought in a director of football, they brought in a new manager, and they're trying to implement this new structure. And as a result, they didn't get the players in that they needed. You know, Balassi, Williams, Stecklenberg, with the bare minimum, really. That they were just patching up the squad. But I think what's been left is a group of players who've been told by the previous manager for 3 years, and by a lot of people, you know, on the outside as well, that they are better than they are, that they should be doing better. And I think, looking back to that Swansea game and looking at the way they played at the weekend, they're playing with a misplaced sense of arrogance at times. But it's about getting the balance right, I think, for them as well, because you mentioned the players there, like Baines, Coleman, Ashley Williams, Barry. Coleman's 28, the rest of them are over 30. And I think if you look at the structure of that Everton back four, I did some sums before we go on Toffee TV later. It's 153, the back five combined age, which is staggering. And I think although all those players in their own right can do a good job, I think when you've got players who are of that age, need to be protected in teams. You need to have younger legs around them. You can't rely on a structure of those players who are going to be
outside
the
of
whole
Serie A.
season. Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I just look at it and I think, you know, Koeman's got to be careful here and start winning some games. And he was doing a lot of talking. I mean, even that rubbish he said the other day about, you know, Lukaku may need to leave to better him. So he might be looking at it and thinking, yeah, you know, actually, you're right.
But there's a reason.
And if he goes, they're in trouble. I mean...
Well, you say that, but I mean, yeah, if he just goes, yes.
Yeah. No, but why say that? Because why did he say that? Sometimes I think with Koeman, he talks a bit too much.
I think
Why come out with that?
I think it's always been his character, hasn't it? If you ask him a straight question, he'll give you a straight answer. I understand why a lot of supporters got annoyed about those comments, but when you've had a manager for 3 years who's basically been telling you lies about the team, spinning things that, you know, that clearly aren't true,
dancing to Jason Derulo,
it can be refreshing to see that. And I think a lot of people associate with the club as well. We spoke about how some of the fans think the player's better than they are. I think a lot of people do need the reality check in some
But he is a top quality striker. He's the main component of the team. And why say that? And then even the thing with Barkley, I don't know, he seemed at the start of the season, he started off all right to me. Ever since he sort of got stuck into Barkley, I don't know, he's just disappeared.
Well, I think that tells you more about the player himself though, than the manager. Yeah. I think Koeman talked Ross up a lot over the summer, so he was looking forward to working with him. He gave him the captain's armband for a game in the League Cup as well. He gave him a key role in the team for those first few games. And I think it's getting to the point now with Ross Barkley where we're looking at a player who's not 18, 19 anymore. He's 23. He's into his 5th full season of Premier League football. And ultimately, he's got to take responsibility now because he's got players around him there, the likes of Barry, the likes of Garner. That should be the hub of the team. That's the most solid part of Everton's side. And you think if you can't perform with those two sitting behind you and a striker like Ronald Koeman in front of you, and you're 23 years old now in the prime of your career, when are you going to do it?
I think the hardest thing, and again, as always, we refer back to our own clubs and that, but I see it at Liverpool when things don't go right at Liverpool. The Brendan Rodgers DNA of Liverpool's side comes out, and it's the similar to the Martinez stuff. It's the pass, don't take risks, don't risk losing the ball by playing a silly, you know, clever pass, keep it at all times, lacking bottle and ambition at times as well. And that until Koeman's had a chance to properly get himself in to the nuts and bolts of that team, bring a few more of his guys in there. When your back's against the wall, you'll revert.
Don't you think though, Paul, there's little less talking. This is the results business, yeah. If he keeps talking and he don't get them results in,
but I don't think he's
the chairman's got a lot of money.
But
right?
Robbie, if he was talking and he was saying we're fucking amazing, blah blah blah, he's talking himself into trouble. I think he's doing the right thing. I think he's tempering expectations to some extent. And the Lukaku thing came off a bit weird, but you know what? If he doesn't fancy Lukaku, it's a very easy way to go. It's like putting him up for sale without putting him up for sale. You know what I mean?
They put him up for sale, they could be way down the table. Because right now he's the main.
But look what he's done. Sorry, look what he did with Pella. You know, we went out and bought Pella for less 10 million quid, less than 10 million. And I know he's not world class.
Pella's not Lukaku.
No. But he fit very well for that first season. He had a very good first season for Southampton. He fit very well with what they were looking to do. I would imagine Koeman would back himself that if he picked up the 40 or probably, you know, potentially more million quid that you get for Romelu Lukaku, he could probably not fix all of Everton's problems, but he could probably bring in 2 or 3 or more players that would help kick them along.
Like what Spurs did when they got rid of Bale. When you got a top player, right, you need to start building the team around him, right?
I don't think Everton can realistically say can do that either, because you're looking at a team now that's finished 11th the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, and if you've got a player like him, someone's going to come and take him off you eventually. You're not going to be able to keep hold of him. And it'd be great to say, we're going to keep him here for the next 5 years, we're going to build a team around him, and you can dig your heels in and not sell him. But ultimately, Everton are going to have to move him on at some point. But I think what the club...
he's not the guy putting the shift in that you need to. It's irrelevant, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter how good a footballer he is.
Well, he scored a load of goals.
No, he has. But the point is,
been playing well from what I see.
Yeah,
so what's the point in coming out and saying what he said? I don't get it. You know what I mean? You're trying to move the team forward. Why say, like, yeah, you're going to have to leave us? It's like you're almost saying, oh... Even if you think that, why you don't say it out loud, innit? Oh, it's almost like you're saying, oh, we're a small club, we're going to have to move on.
They are, though.
No, but you don't... they're not a small club.
I
don't think they are a small club.
Just a little bit of logic from an outside perspective, right, is... Koeman's not going to change the way he's behaved, because the way Koeman has got him to a position where he can manage a club the size of Everton. So he's not going to change. He may learn to not speak so openly in future, but as it stands, he's going to do what got him to the position he has. And Everton, like, we're all kind of having a go at Everton. They're about where they should be this season. Yeah. Look at how much money they spent on wages. About 7th, which is where they are. Look at Spurs. Probably around 5th, which is where we are. Chelsea, Liverpool, probably the only ones that are overachieving currently. So, I mean, again, it's like you got to call on fans to be a bit more pragmatic and realistic about what you're doing.
Hold on.
I think
wages.
I think that
they've got good players, Everton. They've got a lot of very talented.
But they've got the seventh best first 11 in the league, and they're 7th.
I agree with what you're saying, Flat, but I think what's concerned a lot of fans is that you mentioned there about when Pochettino was in Spurs in the first season, there was a clear plan going forward. I don't think a lot of people are seeing that yet in the way that we're playing. I think there's, as I said, there's a lot of similarities to the way they're playing last season. It's very much the same cast of players that, let the previous manager down, aren't working hard enough. And I think it needs to be refreshed in that sense. It might come in January. I think what he could do in the meantime definitely is bring some younger players into the side. I think everyone thinks they've got great young players at the club, but Everton's under 23s at top of the Premier League too. A couple of lads are coming into the first team early in the season and done a good job. Yeah. And I think that would be a good way of refreshing it.
I think it's you leave, for a team like Koeman's and that you leave from the front. And I again saw it with Liverpool. Who'd have thought this time last year that Roberto Firmino would be Liverpool's best centre forward? Now I know we just beaten Man City and he did a good job there, but it looked like here's a surprise thing for us to do. You know, we had like Christian Benteke. Everyone was saying, "Oh, Christian Benteke is a top goal scorer. He should play to straight." You might just, he might just not fancy what he's got there. And it's all well and good having a guy who can score goals, but if he doesn't fit the ethos and there's players there who don't fit the ethos, he's going to have to work it. The thing with Everton to remember though, in the social club case, is that you're probably going to win the derby because that's just the way it'll work. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, but it's mad. But that's what I mean. But Everton have got that talent, and even though there's the run of games coming up now that on paper everyone will go, well, Everton are fucked here. You won't be. You'll win. You will because you have the ability to pick up points there when the average person from outside would look there and go, oh, this might be that, because Lukaku is still a goal scorer. He is still there. Barker's got talent. Delafeo's got talent. Balassi's got talent. There is a very good side there waiting to come out anyway, and I feel like I'm going to go and wash my mouth out.
I hope so, mate.
So I will too.
Not so sure about the derby. Maybe it wasn't one of the other ones.
I've got a sneaky feeling about that one, but it's fine. Let us know your thoughts on Everton and of course Ronald Koeman and the things he said about Lukaku, and whether you think they are underachieving or the manager needs to be dragging more out of them, or it is a case of more reinforcements in January next summer to really get them to where they need to be. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching Social Club this week. Do drop a subscribe by clicking the Ball Street emblem on the screen. Of course, go and subscribe to the whole host of channels associated and listen to the Long Ball Street podcast, which will be amazing. That video will be up this week. Now in full video form, you can watch it. It's great, of course, Arsenal Fan TV. And Matt, where can people catch more of yourself?
World Soccer Talk and Bleacher Report.
There you go.
Yeah. And Toffee TV as well.
And Toffee TV, of course. So yeah, thanks for watching.